The New York Times says despite what President Trump may be claiming, their subscriptions are up in the last quarter by more than 250,000 digital subscriptions and more than 25,000 print subscribers. Now, the president has tweeted multiple times about their numbers falling due to what he called dishonest reporting. The paper tweeting out last week, fact check, New York Times subscribers and audience at all-time highs. Supporting independent journalism matters. Well, joining us to talk about what's happened in these last couple of weeks is Krista Kafer of Kafer and Kelly on KNUS Radio. So thank you for being with us. Boy, there's so much to talk about. I think, how would you grade President Trump in these first couple of weeks?
You know, I'm going to have to give him a C-, and that's just because I think the Supreme Court choice, Neil Gorsuch, was such a good choice that it redeems some of the other decisions that I don't think were good decisions.
So you think Neil Gorsuch will go through?
He will. I mean, even if there is resistance, if they have to take away the filibuster to make it happen, he will be the next Supreme Court judge.
Betsy DeVos, how is it that she has become I think the most controversial one, or the riskiest one, I guess I should say?
Well, I think it's two things with her nomination. One is she is 100% for school choice, and that is an anathema to the teacher unions. On the other hand, I think they could reasonably argue that she lacks the experience to work with public schools, for which most of federal funding that is collected goes to public schools, although there is some funding for private schools. So I think they're justified in their opposition if they simply look at public school experience. But if you look at just simply the wealth of her experience in education in general and supporting reform, I could see why people would support her. But it seems to me that's the only nomination that's in doubt.
Seems to be the case. One other thing I'm sorry, I'm trying to find my information here. It was, that U.S. outpaced job expectations for January, adding 227,000 jobs. So you give President Trump a C-. A lot of people look at those numbers and say that's the right path.
I think it's the right path, but I don't give one man credit for either destroying the economy or improving the economy. I'm not going to give credit to President Obama. I'm not going to give credit to President Trump. I'm going to give credit to the American people and the robustness of our economy. Now, are there things that Trump can do to make sure that we have a robust 4 to 8 years? Yes, there certainly can. I think his deregulation emphasis is right on target.
How do you see President Trump handling the protests and the media?
You know, I think after it was the women's protest, he tweeted out something that was very good. It was about the First Amendment, the right to protest. That's great. If he takes that tact and says, hey, you have a right to protest, you have a right to be out there, I think that's great. When he says things that are disparaging, he simply makes things worse.
Foreign policy.
This is a rough one. I think his decisions perhaps have not been as good as I would have liked these last 2 weeks. Now, I do appreciate the sanctions on Iran. Their ballistic missile testing is in violation of an international agreement. It's something that they should not be doing. This refugee issue, though, is... I'd have to give him an F on that. It is a problem, or a solution in search of a problem. We have not seen refugees committing crimes. In fact, if you look at all of the crimes, terrorist-type crimes since 9/11, the vast majority have been radicalized Americans, Saudis, and Pakistanis. None of those people are on the list. Now, granted, it would be difficult to ban American citizens, but why not look at where the problem really is? It's not with these countries that are on the ban list.
You have conservative listeners.
I do.
What are they saying about Donald Trump right now?
They like him. A lot of them do. I think, some people are very supportive of Trump no matter what he does. They trust him. It doesn't matter how controversial his actions are. They will continue to trust him. But there are also a lot of people who supported Trump who are sort of two minds about the man. They don't trust him. They're concerned that even though he's right in, say, selecting a Gorsuch, but that he is perhaps flawed in other areas, and they're sort of in a wait-and-see mode.
Yeah, moving too fast for some people, do you think?
Well, I don't know if there is such thing as too fast. When it comes to public policy, sometimes fast is the way that you get things done.
Okay, well, we will keep talking about President Trump and some of his actions, actually all of his actions, and we'll be having you back, Krista Kafer. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.